It's time to cook with Susan Beck. Today I am going to make for you chocolate mint brownies. This is one of the most elegant little bars I make, and it's definitely one of the most rich. So if you like something sweet and chocolatey and minty, this is perfect for you. They are great for St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up. We can just dye them green with the filling. That's a frosting filling. I also make them for Valentine's Day with pink. Pink or green works great for Christmas. So let's take a look at what's going to go into our 3 layers for these chocolate mint brownies. The brownie layer goes on the bottom and it will bake at 350 degrees. My oven is already preheating. This is a recipe that reminds me a lot of my mom's chocolate syrup brownies that she makes with Hershey syrup. 4 eggs, we're going to have a cup of sugar. We're gonna have a pinch of salt. I've melted 1 stick of margarine and I have 2 cups of flour ready to go. Then we will be making our filling, which is a powdered sugar icing that can be dyed any color. As I said, I'm getting ready for St. Patrick's Day, so I'm going to use green, and we'll use some peppermint extract to flavor that. And then we top it off with another stick of margarine and some chocolate chips that we will melt together to make our frosting, our 3rd layer. So we're going to mix this in the typical fashion that you would make cookies or bars. I'm going to start with that butter. And it's important whenever you're baking to notice if the recipe says softened butter or melted butter, because it makes a difference in the texture of what you're making, and recipes have been tried out to make that work for the best. And so today's said melted, and a cup of sugar is our measurement on that. Now usually with bars and cookies, we always cream our butter and sugar first. I'm going to use my stand mixer here and whip those together. We want to whip this together and cream that butter and sugar for 3-4 minutes, working some air into that and really beating those together. In our eggs and our chocolate syrup. I love this measuring cup because it's great for sticky substances like Hershey syrup, but I wanted a little more than just 2 cups. I'm going to start mixing that, and as I mix it, I'm going to add in my eggs 1 at a time, and I'm just going to crack those into a bowl. That way, as my mixer's going, I'm not worried about getting any egg shell into my mixture. All right, so mixing that Hershey syrup, butter and sugar, just at a low speed, and in goes 4 eggs. Boy, some of these farm fresh eggs of mine are just gigantic. And I want each egg to get beaten up as I add in the next one. All right, we'll turn that up a little bit. We have a nice chocolatey batter now, and into there goes just a pinch of salt, and that's really what I did. I just pinched the salt and dropped it in. Then I'm going to slowly add in my flour as this mixes. And keep it at a low speed. As it mixes in, I can turn it up a little. It's good to kind of stir around the edges and then give it just 1 more little beating, making sure all the flour has been mixed in. Then before I put it into my pan, I do want to liberally spray that with some cooking spray. You could always rub the end of a butter or margarine stick on there to grease something as well. And then in goes the brownie portion. This is layer number 1 of our chocolate mint brownies. I'm just going to give that a little tap, get everything to the corners, and now this is going to go into my oven for 20 minutes. This is the only layer that will be baked. So I'm going to put it in for 20 minutes and then cool. Now this is an important step. I'm going to let these brownies cool for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to stick them in the refrigerator and chill them for another 10 minutes. I don't want to put my cool frostings and fillings on top of this. If they're too hot, they'll just run off the sides. We're going to go ahead and get that filling made. And that filling is just a powdered sugar icing that has 2 cups of powdered sugar in it. Fill those to the top. And then we're going to add to that, we need a little moisture, 2 tablespoons of milk. And this stick of margarine, if you haven't noticed, my sticks of margarine have been laying out since I started the brownies when I showed you the ingredients. So that is nice and soft, it'll mix easily. But if you forget to do that part, just soften it a little bit in the microwave, not to melt it, okay? We talked earlier about we want softened ingredients for this. It doesn't really matter for our chocolate sauce because that's gonna go in either the microwave or the stove to melt together. And then into that softened margarine, milk, and powdered sugar, I just put 4 drops of green food coloring. And then we're gonna turn these into a peppermint flavor by putting in a teaspoon of peppermint extract. I can smell that peppermint right away. Well, I was going to let you watch this turn green, but with the green inside my bowl, I'm not sure how noticeable it is. Brownies that have been cooling for 10 minutes on the top of the counter or the stove and 10 minutes in the refrigerator. And onto those are going to go my green frosting. Remember, I said you can make this any color you wanted to. I do like the mint with the chocolate, so I'd leave that mint extract probably as my favorite choice, although you could change that up too if you have some other flavor you'd rather have, like maple or something. And this is just going to be a thin layer. Like I said, I make these for St. Patrick's Day, but work out well for Christmas with this color, or make them pink for Valentine's Day. Okay, just a thin little layer across them all. And then I know this is a little putsy, but it's really important to keep doing the chilling. So I'm going to put this back into the refrigerator for about 30 more minutes so that these really set up. If I don't let this layer of frosting set up, then it won't look like a filling and it'll just mix in with my chocolate sauce that's going to go onto the top. I'm trying to get that to the edges a little bit. And this is a really good consistency. Again, if my cake had been too warm, my brownies had been too warm, that would just all be running off, but it doesn't look too bad. So I'm going back to the refrigerator and setting my timer for another 30 minutes. The third layer is our margarine and chocolate chips, and we're just going to melt those on top of the stove in this little saucepan. You can always do this in the microwave too. Just put it in a glass container that's microwave safe. Just heat on medium-low until there are no more chocolate chips in solid form. 30 minutes has gone by and this has gotten pretty solid. I can tip it around and that frosting is not sliding at all. So it's time for our final layer, that chocolate glaze on top. All right, let's drizzle that on. I'll spread it out here. I told you, this is just a rich, decadent, and beautiful looking dessert. Spread that around so there's just a thin layer of chocolate everywhere. And then I am gonna chill it again before I cut these. I really need this to all set, and the refrigerator is the best place to do that. Check out these gorgeous chocolate mint brownies. I just love that layer of green in there that just adds a real prettiness to them. I think it's time to give them a taste. They're so rich and chocolatey, but that mint flavor is very prominent. They're just soft and delicate and oh so pretty. So try these for St. Patrick's Day, Christmas, Valentine's Day. Change up the color, but enjoy the flavor of mint chocolate brownies.